So last Saturday, I did my first semester, my first class for my statistics course. Now, some background. I was not planning on taking a statistics course in school right now. I had originally signed up for a psychology class. I think something like early childhood development psychology class. My major right now is psychology, though I do plan on changing my major from psychology to criminal justice. But that was the plan, right? And so I was prepared. I'm only taking one class this semester because this is the see if you can do it cruel semester, right? I'm taking one class. I'm dipping my foot back into the college scene because my first go at college wasn't really that great. Did good in English, did decent in I think one other class, but it was mainly C, D's, and F's going, from there. And so I said, well, you know what? I'm older now. I think I'm more disciplined. I have a different insight in the world. Maybe I can, come to school and really like focus. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take one class, see if I can really put my mind to it, put my effort into it. And if I do well, it'll let me know, hey, you can actually get through the school thing. If I don't do well, then I might just fall in the category of people who you're just not meant for school. And some of us are out there where we're not dumb. We're just, for some reason, we don't have the discipline or our mind wanders or we just don't have the attention span to be like good students. So I enrolled in this statistics class. Why is it so hard for me to say statistics? So I enrolled into this statistics class. I'm struggling to say that word. After my psychology class was dropped. Now, I wasn't given any notification that my class was being dropped. I just randomly happened to go and check my CUNY First account to say, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and check on some stuff, get my my financial payment plan in order. And I went to check, my schedule and I wasn't seeing anything. So then I go and check, there's this tab if you are, a CUNY student, you know what I'm talking about. In CUNY First, when you go and you course bill, you select your classes that you want for that semester. And nothing was highlighted. And that's when I saw the class had no start date. It had no classroom number. It just said to be expected or something like that, right? To be announced, I think it was, right? And the fact that I got dropped meant that that class wasn't being held this semester. And so I only had a couple of days before the start of the semester, so I had to pick a class. And so I decided, well, you know what? I'm changing my major in the future, so I don't want to take a class that's not a core class because if I change my major, it might not count towards my associate's degree as a credit because the new major that I picked, criminal justice, might not carry that class. So I said, let me stick to a core class. And I took my English class, I think 2 of them, got my credits for those. And so I have to get my math core class underneath my belt. And so I said, you know what? Let me swallow the bullet and do the math class because I'm not a good math student, but I'm only taking one class. So I can dedicate all of my time, attention, and effort towards this one individual class. And this will really help me gauge if I can if I have what it takes to get my diploma. Because I'll have to do well at this subject that I despise. So enrolled in a math class. And Saturday, this most recent Saturday, I had my first session. Get to class. I sit right in front. I'm trying to do the opposite of everything I did my first go around in college. I never sat in the front. I was always I used to sit in the middle. I didn't want to sit all the way in the back because I feel like the back is where the troublemakers sit. And I didn't want to sit in the front because I didn't want to be called out by the professor. So I would sit somewhere in the middle where I could kind of hide myself amongst my other fellow classmates. But this time, no. My ass is sitting in the front. So I sit right in the front, the front row seat. I got there like at 8:55, and I never want to get there that close to the starting time again. I looked up that my professor was late 5-10 minutes as well. So, but got there, sat in the front. Because my plan was I'm going to do things differently, but also I'm going to record my professor with my iPhone. I'm someone who likes to listen to stuff. I love podcasts. I love audiobooks. I'm an auditory learner. So I'm going to go, sit in the front, record everything, leave the class. This way, I can just play back the lesson during the week. So I'm sitting there, waiting for her to come so I can start recording. She comes in late. I press the record button, and I notice that the little red waves on my, recording button are kind of moving a lot more than they should be because she ain't really saying nothing. This is when it dawned upon me, oh snap. There was this loud ass fan in the back of the class that was blowing, that was just screwing over my recording. The waves on my iPhone were from that fan. And I could tell from looking at those audio waves that anything she was saying, I wouldn't hear over that loud ass fan. So there's that. Next thing you know, the professor, she's putting her stuff on the table, getting her papers out, getting her book, her book out, going over to the projector, and the projector that she was planning on using for her lesson does not work. And you might say, well, technology doesn't work from time to time. Surely she wasn't, so dependent on this projector that it didn't drastically impact her class. You would be mistaken. You would be mistaken. Apparently, her style of teaching is kind of using like slides. So if you're somebody who teaches using a bunch of slides, then your entire lesson plan is almost and totally dependent on how much this projector is working. So now she got us all logging into Blackboard to find, because the slides that she uses in her classrooms, she also puts on our Blackboard so we can access them at home and stuff. But we're in the classroom and nobody had laptops. I brought my laptop, but I didn't realize how small those desks were because it's been so long since I've been in school. And knowing my big ass, I would have knocked my laptop off of that small ass table, and I would have really been tight. So I'm like my fellow classmates, we all out here getting out our phones, logging into Blackboard so that we can access the lesson. Small ass screen. She's reading from her iPhone. Now, I will say, it wasn't the best lesson, but I still learned a lot that first day, which kind of gets into how she has to be a pretty good teacher because she got more comfortable. She was mispronouncing words, and I will later learn from studying the slides myself over here in my house that some of the stuff was typed wrong. I don't know if she typed it wrong or if the book that she got it from typed it wrong, whatever, but it wasn't the greatest lesson, but it wasn't totally bad. And it was the first day of class. So you kind of have to cut your professor some slack on the first day of class. Everyone's kind of getting used to their room. She told us that she taught this class in a much better room last semester. And I have no doubt about it because the room, when I walked in, it felt just like high school. And some of you might have gone to better high schools, but high school, to me, my school looked like the prison. But I'm looking forward to the class. I really am. It felt good to be back in school. It did. It felt good being amongst people who were pursuing an education. It felt good to be on a campus. I kind of chose to go to this particular school. I don't know if I've mentioned the school or not already. I hope not, because I don't really want to mention it now. But I chose to go to this school because this school it's a CUNY school in New York City, but it has a campus. It was between this and another school in New York City that does not have a campus. And if I'm going to be going back to school, I would at least like for some of the experience to feel like school. Right? So please, let's have a cafeteria. Let's have something. But yeah, looking forward to the class. This upcoming Saturday is the real first day. But we got our early last Saturday around 11:15, 11:20. The class is up until 11:45. It's from 9 to 11:45. So we got our early last week. Cover basic stuff, vocabulary, simple concepts. I got this reference sheet that she gave us to look over stuff and to use when we have our tests and quizzes. It has a bunch of formulas and equations, and I can already tell from looking at that oh man, this class is gonna be a headache. It's gonna be a headache, but I gotta pass it.